So, have I gained weight since I started the move? You guys know I've been eating a lot of Sonic and McDonald's and Burger King burgers and stopping and getting bags of processed cheap lunch meat on sale, things like that. Um, and the more I do this, the more I realize that, there are a lot of people. Thanks, brother. There are a lot of people that are dogmatic whenever they talk down to people on keto. They look at they look at the things that they're eating, and they think they've become this super professional, this professional that can point the finger and tell people exactly how to eat. And I was that guy. I used to be that guy that tell everybody, that's highly processed. It's not good for you. That's not really keto. That's not clean keto. All these things like that. And I was the person that would come down on them and tell them, what you're doing is probably not the best thing to do. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. What's the best thing for somebody to do is up to that person themselves. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. It's not up to anybody. It's up to that person. If they feel fine, their labs are fine, their body's functioning fine, all of a sudden we become this mastermind scientist that talks about what happens in your body on a cellular level because this doctor or this scientist said so. And we grasp that information and we hold on to it like it's our first love. And we hold it and we just spread it to everybody because it's something that we truly believe in. But because we believe in it, doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right thing to be telling everybody else. Since I went on this move, eating super, super clean carnivore, now I'm eating all this processed keto, carnivore food, whatever you want to call it. I don't even like giving it names anymore. I don't even really want to call myself carnivore and keto anymore. When people ask me how I eat, I don't give it a title. I don't tell people I'm on a carnivorous diet. I might use keto because it's easy to use for reference, but I don't even like using that. I just tell people, look, I just try not to eat carbs and sugar. Bottom line. I might get some trace stuff through my food from time to time, but I find that the real enemy is carbs and sugar. It's not the fact that it's processed. It's not the fact that it comes from six different sources of the animal to make the one, make salami or something like that. It's not the fact that it's got a little canola oil or something in it. Yeah, those things may have higher omega 6. Yes, they may be hydrogenated. Yes, they may be somewhat inflammatory. But those conditions only arise if it's a repetitive nature happening every single day, eating very high inflammatory foods. These things happen if you're doing this long term, like you did on the standard American diet, having things every single day, day in and day out. There's nobody on keto and carnivore that I've ever seen that has highly processed foods every single day of their life. They switch things up from time to time. They might take 3 or 4 days in the middle of the week and they're having, good quality steak and chicken and fish and broccoli. No, it's not grass fed, but that's subjective to the person and the journey that they run. I have not gained a single pound. I've lost 7 pounds. I've My stomach is flatter whenever I put my shirts and stuff on. I notice it doesn't bulge out as much. The stomach is the only area that I'm holding any kind of weight. I bet you I probably have 20 pounds to lose right in my midsection alone because that's the last place for me that it wants to fall off. It's falling off everywhere else. I mean, I used to have chunks of fat hanging off my arms. I used to never be able to see the veins and stuff in my neck. I used to never have a jawline. All that stuff is completely it's all showing now. I don't have to worry about any of that now. The only part that's really the most insecure to me is my midsection. And I have not gained weight. I've felt great. There's a few situations I've put myself in having foods that were not necessarily the best. And I'll admit to you right now, one of the nights that I went to the movie theater when I first got here, I had popcorn. And within 12 hours, I was right back into ketosis. And when I tell you I've had popcorn, I had an entire giant bucket of popcorn. I'm not going to lie to you. I live a normal life. I don't have anything to hide to anybody. I'm very open. I'm very accountable to you. I had a massive bag of popcorn with tons of ranch seasoning all over it. Did I feel bad the next day? On carnivore, no. If I'm on a carnivorous diet and I have carbs the next day or that night, I don't feel bad. I don't feel like trash. I really don't feel like I'm having like a hangover or anything. If I'm on keto, absolutely. The next day I feel like death. I cannot handle it. So I picked and choose whenever I do the things that I want to do in life. I was sitting there in my chair in the theater and I thought to myself, you know what? I would really like some popcorn right now. I really would. And it's not necessarily the right thing to do, but it is my right thing to do. It's not somebody else to tell me what to do, or it's not somebody else's journey. It's mine. Can I have it right now and know that tomorrow I won't roller coaster for the next 2 weeks? Can I have it right now and know that tomorrow I'll probably be okay because I'm on a carnivorous diet? Absolutely. So I got up out of my seat. I said, you know what? Give me one of the big popcorns. And I put ranch seasoning all over it. Junk. But 12 hours later, I was completely fine. My ketones were right back up at 1.0 millimolar. My blood sugar was at 85. My body adjusted accordingly. There's something about being on a carnivorous diet that just overall your body can bounce out of and back into huge. Like, I thought it was amazing on keto. It's even more powerful on carnivore. You're in and out, in and out, in and out, and it's like your body is very repetitive and very responsive to it. On keto, it's more difficult for me because I feel like my ketones are substantially higher, my blood sugar is substantially lower, and my body just doesn't adapt to the in and out as fast as if I'm doing carnivore. Carnivore, my blood sugar's okay, you know, it's 88, 85. My ketones are 1.0, 0.8, 1.2. They're never super high like they are in keto. Keto, they're, you know, 2.0 millimolar, 2.2 millimolar. My blood sugar's down in the 70s. So on keto, I have a harder time doing that. So I think that the power of being on a carnivorous diet is the fact that I have the ability to do things that I want to do sometimes. Um, um, I'm I'm to the point where carnivore is my choice. Carnivore will be the way I run the rest of my life. I will not change from that. I won't go back to keto. I won't do any of that stuff. But what I do is I pick and choose throughout my journey. Do you really want this bag of Reese's Pieces right now? Well, let me look. On this bag, I've got, 150 grams of carbs total. Do I like peanut butter? Yes. Do I like chocolate? Yes. You know what? I'm going to have the bag. I'm going to treat myself right now. I'll probably be in and out of this quick. I might feel a little off tomorrow, but I'll go another 2 or 3 weeks and I won't have anything like this again. Is it okay to do that stuff every once in a while? The wise words of Dr. Jason Fung. If you live your life to where you cannot enjoy your social environments, are you living? You're not going to be able to make the best choice every single time you sit down. You're going to have family events. You're going to have events with your friends. You're going to be out enjoying family with your wife and your kids and stuff like that. Partake. Don't be a Nazi about it. Go back to what you were doing, but every once in a while to treat yourself is not a big deal. So I adopted that method now. I have learned over the last 3 years of doing this consistently. I've been doing this for 15 total, with a little bit of a break, about 2.5 years in between. But I've learned over the last 3 years of me doing this consistently now that I have built up that discipline. I've built up that rapport with myself to say, right now you can have it, but tomorrow, none. Because if you think you're going to do it tomorrow, then you don't need to have it right now. But if you can have it right now and walk away from it for another 2 or 3 weeks or a month, then do it. You're all right. So I have this conversation, this battle internally with myself. I've got this devil and this angel that are trying to fight with each other back and forth, and they're saying, can you do this? Can you control it right now? Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. You're gonna... If I feel like I'm obsessing about it, then I won't do it. I'll walk away from it. But if I feel like, you know what, I'd like to have some of that right now. Do I have to have it? No. Do I feel like I'm in control? Yeah, I feel like I could just... I wouldn't necessarily want it for a couple more weeks, another month. Then I do it. But I have gained no weight since eating processed keto and carnivore food since I started this move. I've lost more weight. I'm not obsessing about food. I'm not stressing myself out over food. I'm not making myself sick to the point where I have to figure out what my blood sugar is, what my ketones are, what kind of food I'm going to eat tomorrow. I just take it day by day and I let it ride and I just live a normal life. Yes, I'm stressed out right now from everything else that's going on in my life, financially, with the new job. I haven't got paid yet. All these different things that are going on. Why would I want to add more stress on top of that? Why would I want to make my life more complicated with people that have kids and significant others and families to take care of and jobs and stuff like that? Why do I want to obsess and stress over food? I don't want to. I really don't. And am I doing carnivore perfectly? No. No, not at all. Yesterday I went over to my mother's house and I said, Mom, I'm going to bring you a pork tenderloin that I had frozen from before the move. It's still in a cooler and I have it in a really big expensive cooler and it's been freezing every night so it stays frozen. I'm going to bring it over and I'll give you this big giant pork tenderloin and I'll bring this like 3.5 pound roast over. But in turn, I just saw that, Kim. Good job. I'm sorry. I'm rolling with emotionally talking. Um, and then I grabbed that roast, the smaller roast that was in there, and I thought to myself, you know what, I could have fun with this and still eat clean. So, peanut butter isn't the best. It is kind of high in omega 6s. It is somewhat inflammatory to quite a few people. It's not even just, like very minimal. It's very inflammatory to people in general, and they just don't even realize it. So I said, I'm going to spice up this beef a little bit. So I just thin sliced it, just real thin. I hate when my phone does that. It tries to switch to the Wi-Fi in the car instead of the phone service. Anyhow, um, I threw some peanut butter in there, some sriracha in there, and I fried up this beef. And it was like a Mongolian flavor, kind of like it had a savory, nutty flavor to it. And I said, I really enjoy this. I wonder if I could do this more often. This would be super enjoyable on carnivore, but that's not really carnivore. And I thought, you know what? Who cares? Just eat it. It's just 1 teaspoon of peanut butter and some sriracha. And oh my gosh, oh man, I couldn't even wait for lunchtime to eat this stuff. I mean, I ate it in the car sitting outside work, and then I just skipped, dinner. Then I just skipped dinner completely because it was like a pound and a quarter of beef or something like that. And it just had nothing but 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and 2 or 3 tablespoons of sriracha sauce. Just and it wasn't 2 tablespoons; it was 2 teaspoons. So one tablespoon of peanut butter and some sriracha sauce. And it was just a way for me to make things interesting for myself. It was just a way for me to not bring my blood sugar up, kind of take some of that heat out of the sriracha sauce, which I like anyway. I should have made it way hotter than what I did. But it's just having fun with it. Just learning that you don't have to be like everybody else. You don't have to follow what every single doctor says out there. Guys, I'll warn you right now that I'm kind of like anti-doctor right now. I'm anti. I've been burned by quite a few of our doctors that we watch on social media. I've been I've helped a few doctors out, help them grow and stuff like that. And some of them have been very um, disingenuous, not honest to me at all, not thankful for me helping them grow and stuff like that. So when you're gonna hear me talk a lot in my videos about being anti doctor because of the situation, because a lot of them have on their mind they want to try to grow as much as they possibly can, because in the grand scheme of things they want to make money off this and there's a market for it, but they want to help people in the long run. Of course, I get that. But I'm not the guy for that. I'm not the guy to support somebody filling their pocket full of cash when they're building new houses and conference centers and everything else off of our dime. So I'm to the point now where I don't care who people follow. I follow one doctor and one doctor only, and that's Dr. Eric Westman and maybe Dr. Jason Fung. That's it. I don't follow anybody outside of that. I quit following all the other doctors. I quit following all the other nutritionists and all these other people. It was becoming overwhelming. I got to the point where I was having to follow and hey, Rich, hey, go check out this person, see what they just said. Hey, look at this video for me and tell me what you think. Hey, do you follow that doctor? Because he's got some... I just quit. I quit altogether. I was like, you know what, guys, this is overwhelming. I'm not doing this no more. There's a doctor for everything now. There's a doctor popping up every single week that's waiting to be discovered so they can grow big on social media and possibly be known. And it's every single week. It makes no difference to me anymore. I'm just to the point now where I've gained the knowledge that I gain. I coach my own people on my groups. They love my information. They deal with me directly. I private message them throughout the day. There's not a time that anybody ever goes by without hearing from me. And that's all I need to learn through my journey, learn through them, learn through their lab results, learn how food affects them, and that's how I do things. I don't do things based on anybody's content anymore. I might reference a doctor from time to time, but really it's just solely me. I'm not getting my information. I might make some stupid videos or something like that about Fox News being liars, or, about Weight Watchers or something, but my experience over the last 15 years of doing this is what speaks for itself the most. That's why I have so many people that come to me every day saying, thank you for helping me with what you've done. Thank you for changing my family's life. Thank you for doing the things that you do, because I wouldn't, um, CNN is fake news, and so is Fox now. They're all fake news now. Every one of them. Since Fox has been turned over to the other part of the family, they're trash. They're no good either. None of them are good. There's not a single one of them that don't lie now. So I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by the whole entire situation. So I'm not doing anything with the news anymore. I don't really get involved with a lot of, like last night, I went on a friend of mine on here. I've been helping her with her keto journey as well for a long time. She put me in a group on Facebook. So I went in the group, and, I created this post about one of my biggest issues that I'm trying to fix right now is people that come to me with potassium deficiencies on carnivore, and they've got an irregular heartbeat and pressure in their chest. No, I'm not a doctor. Yes, the best thing for you to do would be to go get your labs. But if I can add some potassium to what you're already eating based on the food content that you're eating, if you're eating a pound of meat per day, and that's all you're eating, or a pound and a half of meat per day, chances are you're deficient in potassium. You're not getting enough potassium to sustain healthy levels. And I have to often come along and say, look, you need to start supplementing. You need to start adding in some potassium gluconate, some chloride, whatever it may be, new salt, no salt, light salt, whatever you got to do, cream of tartar, put it in there. Start getting some more in and see if that arrhythmia, that the irregular heartbeat doesn't start to go away. So I created a post about that. And, I had that's here nor there. I mean, the whole lab thing drawn or whatever, sure, but that takes time to get in there and do that stuff. In the meantime, you can start adding a little potassium in to see if it does fix the problem. If you're super deficient in potassium, and you can add just a little bit in, whether it's a half a serving, a quarter of a serving, whatever it is, and it makes you feel better. In the meantime, that may be more beneficial than letting it go and doing more damage and not getting into a doctor right away. So, I mean, there's a million ways to look at this. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So, um, I use no salt. I don't believe in getting all these supplements from all these companies and stuff like that. I just go get a $3 bottle of no salt, and I just literally sprinkle some in some water, take some pink Himalayan salt or Redmond's real salt, sprinkle some of that in some water, and I drink it. I don't even take magnesium supplements anymore. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I mean, I literally just eat carnivorous food, and I supplement potassium and sodium. That's it, because I don't get enough through my food. Um, lately I haven't been having to supplement potassium because I'm on the go and I'm eating a lot of processed foods that have a lot of potassium in it. But I'm to the point now where, I'm getting on track, and I'm gonna start eating, clean whole food again, instead of, like this processed salami and stuff while I'm on the road, because it's easier and things like that. But I'm in this group last night, and I created this post about one of the biggest problems that I'm trying to deal with right now. And, I left the conversation back and forth. A lady messages me yesterday. I hope she's watching this right now. She messaged me yesterday, and she says, I don't know what my problem is, but I'm starting to have this heartbeat thing in my chest. And I said, how much are you eating per day? Well, I ate a steak last night. I said, well, you ate a steak last night. What are you eating per day? Well, I mean, I have some eggs and stuff sometimes. And I said, that's not what I'm asking you. What are you eating per day? Are you not tracking your food? And she said, why is this camera just getting weird? It's like it's not wanting to autofocus. And she said, no, I don't track my food or anything like that. And I said, well, if you have a problem, how are you supposed to fix a problem if you're not tracking what you're doing? You got to figure out, how much meat am I having? How much potassium is in the meat that I'm having? How much sodium is in the meat that I'm having? And then you track the amount that you have to add into it. Well, if if I'm putting a quarter teaspoon of new salt or no salt per day in my water, well, I know I've just increased it, what, 625, 650 milligrams, 675, somewhere in there. I know that that's an extra 675 milligrams of potassium that I'm having per day. So now I can add it to my totals, and I can see, I can adjust accordingly. And when I added that little bit in, did it feel like my heart stopped beating so fast? Well, and I feel normal again. I go check my blood pressure, and okay, it's starting to come back down. It's fine. Well, then you know you're on the right track. Still, maybe you should go see a doctor, but you need to track. You need to see what's going on when these problems arise. If you don't know where you're coming from, how do you know where you're going to go? You got to realize that. You can't fix something if you don't know what you're doing wrong to begin with. So we could talk about levels of potassium and how much you should supplement all day. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give you the answer right now, because you don't even know where you came from. You got to know where you came from to know where you're going. Well, when I posted this on this new group that she put me in, kind of introducing myself and saying, thank you, this person, for bringing me in the group. Hopefully I can help some people. And I posted this. The admin went ahead, the creator of the group went ahead and approved it. And this is the typical mindset where I know this is the person that I used to be, and I'm disgusted that I used to be that way and I'm not that way anymore. The guy responded with, Richard Paso, we're all veterans in this. We all know how to do keto and carnivore, so thank you for your information, but we do not tag people's names, and we've all been doing this just as long. Thank you. And I was like, just as long? You don't even know my story just as long. There aren't very many doctors that have been doing this as long as me, let alone somebody that's created a keto group that's got 1,000 people on it. I mean, come on. But I didn't want to be rude. What I did was I smiled to myself and I said, you were that guy. That was you. And you changed. So I said, you know what? Take care. Have a blessed day. And I left the group. I mean, no point in arguing. No point in trying to argue and talk to know-it-alls. Just walk away. So that's what I did. Why stay and try to be subjective to stuff like that? And then now I feel bad because I think to myself, how much did you do that to other people, and how much did you put them through when you did that? So I had to just humble myself and say, you know what? I was that guy. So I'm not going to argue with him because I should feel bad then. If I argued with him, I should feel bad because I did the same thing. And that mentality and that mindset comes from lack of experience. It comes from not being able to humble yourself and thinking that you know it all. So I've come to the point of realization in my life. You would think the older I get, the more stubborn I would get, but the older I get, the more I realize, just tranquilo, tranquilo. You know, no problems. Just relax. So, and that's what I'm doing more of lately. Is just saying, you know what? If you figure it out, then that's fine. When you need my help, come to me and I'll help you. So that's kind of where that went last night. And I left the group just because I don't want any problems like that. I've got enough on my plate right now. So I let people kind of figure out and do what they need to do. If you want to, I don't even call things dirty keto and clean keto and stuff anymore. I just call it keto. Do whatever kind of keto you want to do. As long as you're healing, as long as you're in ketosis, as long as you're trying to control your blood sugar, that's all I care about. The enemy is carbs and sugar. Well, sugar and carbs in that pecking order. And then you go from just carbs to refined, actually sugar, refined carbs, some complex starchy carbs, but not so much, because there's a lot of information on resistant starch. I think raw milk is very healthy to an extent. I think that a lot of us drink milk because it tastes good. We don't drink milk because of the nutrient density. I think a lot of people can be successful off raw milk, but there's another part of you that says you were weaned off of the tit. Why are you still trying to drink something that's only made for growing? And that's it. It's not made for continual health. It's made for a child to be developed, a calf to be developed, and then once they're developed, they get off of it and they don't do it anymore. But yet we continue to keep doing it. So there's a side of me that says it can be good, and there's a side of me that says it doesn't make sense to keep doing it because that's not what it was designed for, continuous drinking. We just learned to manufacture it as something that was continually able to be drank, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we should be doing it. So that's my thoughts on raw milk. I'm not sure if you're asking me, says who, or if you're asking, are you asking me, says who? Trying to check the messages. Well, think about it. I mean, it's there's not an animal on this earth that gets weaned off of milk and then goes back to it. The mom actually fights the animal to stay away from them. There's not a there's nothing that after it's made, after it came from the tit to real world whole food, there's nothing that continues to live off of that. We're the only one that choose to continue to do that. You can't think of Ireland as your mindset standpoint. It doesn't work that way. You have to think about how things work in life in general, how things are born and raised. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in the world that comes back to mother's tit after it's weaned off and it's grown for nutrients. It doesn't happen. Dr. Ken Berry, too, as much as I don't like referencing doctors, he was in a video where he was talking in a podcast. It was like a movie-style video that they were doing, said the exact same thing. And it's something that I've been saying for years. I don't drink milk anymore. Yes, I love the taste of it. Yes, I might pick up a glass of it and have it from time to time. And I'm saying from time to time, once every 3 or 4 months. But it's not something that I think people wholeheartedly should be living off of, having every single day. It has never been developed for something. When have you ever seen in creation that something lives off of mother's milk every single day? 4,000-year butter is different. We take milk and we make butter out of it so we can use it, right? But we don't drink milk wholeheartedly the same way. We manufacture these things. So in the grand scheme of things, is butter really something that's natural for the body? It's a saturated fat that's healthy, yes. But if we look at how we used to eat, it's something that we had to manufacture and process to get there. Milk in general, I don't see the point in having all that. It's got all the sugars and stuff in it. When you make butter, you clarify a lot of that stuff out of there. You process it to the point where there's not a lot of junk in there anymore. There's no sugars, there's no carbs. A lot of the nutrients is gone for it. I mean, with it, it's still good for you. It's still great for your cholesterol, your lipid panel levels. I just, again, like I said, there's a part of me that says I think raw milk can be good, but then there's another part of me that says it's just not natural to continue drinking it through our adult life. I don't know how my mother would feel if I came back up to her tit and started sucking milk out of it. She'd probably beat the hell out of me. Just doesn't work that way. Anyhow. That's it, guys. That's it for today. Just wanted a little chit chat about. I haven't gained weight. I feel good. I mean, I feel all right. I've lost a little bit more weight actually. So I'm to the point where this whole trip from start to finish, from the time I started moving until now, I've lost 7 pounds since starting Dirty Days carnivore until now, eating lunch meat from the deli and packs of hot dogs and stuff like that just to get by until money starts coming in. I haven't gained any weight at all. My blood sugar has been under control and my ketones have been up almost every single day. Oh yeah, I'm overweight. Of course I'm overweight. I started at 400 pounds. I'm down to like 274 or something right now. But I'm a big dude. I don't look like your average 274 pound guy. I mean, I'm in the gym pounding weights. I lift a lot. I hold it very well. You'd never be able to tell by looking at me that I'm 274 pounds. I mean, overall, I'm pretty jacked, but I still got fat that I got to lose. So, I've never had a problem with any of that. I don't. I hold my weight well. That's not the problem for me. My problem is getting it off my joints. That's what I want. So that's just that's my video for today. I could get on here and keep you guys on here and chat, but I think my laundry just finished. I'm gonna go in there and fold my load of laundry, and I'm gonna head back to the. Wow. Let me see what you said. Drinking nothing but raw milk for 6 weeks. Yeah, I mean, you can do it. You can do. You can eat potatoes every day for a year and lose weight. I mean, it's considered resistant starch, so it doesn't necessarily put weight on you. I mean, I wanted to try it as an experiment, but I know it's going to tick a lot of people off. But I want to see how true it is. You know, when you start incorporating resistant starch, you cook a potato, you let it cool completely. You don't eat it while it's warm. You let it cool completely, and then you salt it, and then you eat a potato, and now it's become this resistant starch form that doesn't put weight on your body because you've let it cool and it's not hot. Something to do with the extent of letting it cool before eating it is what resists the amount of weight that's put on your body by doing it. There was that guy that went an entire year, and I don't know if he lost like 80 pounds or 100 pounds or something like that. That he went, I don't know the whole story. I'd be lying to you if I told you exactly what it was, but he ate potatoes for an entire year. The whole goal was to cook the potato and then let it cool, and in the cooling effect it becomes this resistant starch, and it doesn't affect the body the same way as if it's hot. And this dude ate nothing but potatoes and lost all this weight because he was eating the same food over and over again, but he was eating it in a resistant starch form, I think. He was letting them cool all the time. But anyway, that's the gist of how it works. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's the gist of it. And I wanted to do an experiment on that, but again, this is a keto channel, and I wouldn't necessarily be true to keto. I'm an experimenting biohacking kind of guy. Regardless of the diet, regardless of what people have to say, if I think that it can, if I think I can have it and it won't cause an adverse issue in my life, a lot of times I go against the grain and I do it anyway. A lot of people get upset sometimes when I do it, but I kind of do what I want, and it's always been that way. I've gotten fired from jobs because of that, but it's just kind of who I am. I've just learned to mellow it out a little bit. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm kind of a unique kind of person to where even if I know it's not necessarily the brightest thing to do, sometimes I choose to do it because it's fun or because I want to see what happens or get myself in a lot of trouble in the process. But, you know, that's one of the things that have been on my mind lately is I wonder if it's actually true. Does the resistant starch from cooled potatoes really affect my blood sugar like a hot potato does? Anyway, I'm going to go fold my laundry and get out of here. Thank you, guys. It's been a great afternoon.